Why put your garden to rest for the winter? Putting the garden to rest for the winter is a way of mimicking the seasonal cycles in nature. The main goals of putting the garden to rest are to prevent leaching of nutrients and to add nutrients to the soil as well as to build soil organic matter. Throughout the season, soil has been depleted in order for your garden to grow, and now is the chance to renew it. For more background information on the topics discussed, see the links in the resource section at the end of the video. When to put your garden to rest. After you have harvested all your vegetables and fruit in the fall, it is time to restore garden soil. At this time, it is important to protect soil and the nutrients it contains from getting washed away in the winter rain so you can have healthy soil for the next season's crop. This time of year provides plenty of sources available to attain the green and brown materials you will need to accomplish this task. How to put your garden to rest for the winter. I will explore a few possible ways to put the garden to rest. One way to prepare your garden for winter is by using a variation of the lasagna gardening method, which is used to build soil for new gardens. First, remove the weeds that have grown in your garden bed and be careful that no seed heads are going into your compost. Next, lay down cardboard, ensuring you have removed any non-biodegradable tape. The cardboard will prevent any new weeds from emerging. Some crops, like kale, continue to produce over the winter, so you can keep those in the ground and work around them. After the cardboard is covering the soil, a layer of green plant material is put on top as a source of nitrogen. You can use old green material from the garden as long as it does not have seed heads or is an invasive weed. Make sure the plant material you are using is chopped up into smaller pieces to aid in decomposition. The layer of green material is followed by a layer of brown plant material as a source of carbon. You want to end up with a layer of brown material that is approximately 2 times higher than the layer of green material. Remember that the reason for keeping a certain amount of carbon to nitrogen containing material is that microorganisms need a 30-to-1 carbon to nitrogen ratio to be able to consume the material, grow in number, and create soil. Normally, if you are following the lasagna gardening method, you would lay several green and brown layers until you have reached a height of 1 to 2 feet. However, in this video, we are going to finish with an unfinished compost layer. This compost is already a mixture of partially decomposed green and brown material that will have enough time over the winter months to fully break down. A more simple variation of this method is to put a layer of chopped up old garden material on the soil, then pile leaves on top. If you are still concerned about soil washing away in the rain and snow, you can follow the leaves with a layer of cardboard. Put sticks or something heavy on top to keep the cardboard from blowing away. One drawback to placing cardboard on top is that it makes an excellent habitat for pests like slugs. Alternative materials you can use for lasagna gardening and mulching include sawdust or newspaper for brown material and grass clippings for green material. Choose materials that are easy for you to acquire. Organisms will break down the material as a food source and start to create soil, which will be ready for planting seeds in the spring. Green manures, or cover crops, are also a technique used to hold in nutrients and add organic matter to the soil over the winter and early spring months. One easy crop to grow that survives the winter is fall rye. Fall rye is broadcast seeded in the fall so that it can grow before it gets too cold. Winter peas can be planted to eventually add nitrogen to the soil once the plant decomposes. One drawback to using cover crops is that it has to be shoveled under and incorporated into the soil in the early spring. Remember that each technique for putting your garden to rest will have benefits and drawbacks. Use the method that works best for you and your particular situation. Activity ideas for curriculum integration. Art or cooking. Draw or cook a real lasagna. What layers of the real lasagna can you pretend are analogous to the garden lasagna? Science. Look at the way roots of plants can hold soil together. Sprout some radish or mustard seeds for a few days in a glass jar with water. Plant them in a paper cup with soil and let them grow for a couple of weeks. Peel away the paper cup to reveal the roots and soil. Notice the shape of the soil. How do plants like fall rye keep soil from washing away in the rain? Do a research project on leguminous cover crops. What is nitrogen fixation? What is a symbiotic relationship? Social studies. Do a research project to find out for how many years societies have been using a method of letting a garden rest. Did the medieval feudal system use cover crops? What does let a field lie fallow mean? Math. What is a ratio? What does a low or high ratio mean? Which materials have a higher carbon to nitrogen ratio? Which materials have a higher nitrogen to carbon ratio?